Today we're making one of the most iconic weapons in gaming history, the Gears of War Lancer.
We're no stranger to chainsaw weapons, but on the last build, we thought had one comment. It really can't cut anything.
And while we have this really cool Lancer file for cosplay enthusiasts that's ready to go,
we want to take it to the next level by redesigning it to have a real running chainsaw.
And the answer to the question of, is it practical to have a chainsaw on a gun? Let's get to it. So our Lancer is gonna have to accomplish 3 goals for this video. Number 1, it's gotta be actually usable and safe. I don't wanna lose my fingers. But we don't want this thing to break since it's gonna have a 3D printed shell. So that's gonna require some additional engineering.
Yeah, and number 2, we're gonna be making Marcus Phoenix's cool custom Lancer. So it actually has to look the part. So we're gonna need to have nice blue LEDs all over and a fake wooden stock.
And number 3, it has to actually cut something, right?
Yes, it needs to. All these comments said that was a one thing missing in the previous.
We'll show you.
Yeah.
We'll show all of you.
So I'm busy with Turgle all week, so I got a fresh Gaddy off the line.
Fresh? Not as fresh as the landlord special, dude. What do you mean?
Good man, get to work.
Huh? What? Jeez, Jamie. So, with this build, we actually have a unique situation in which we have to mix some of the creative prop making side with the work that our engineer Ron is going to be doing later. Now, Ron has modified the Lancer's design from our original cosplay version so they can fit all the electronics and a real chainsaw inside. And we're going to start by printing out the redesign across our 3D print farm to make quick work. After this, we'll sub-assemble the Lancer using CA glue to make 2 halves of the rifle that'll actually key into each other. Doing this in 2 halves will not only allow me to work on the Lancer and eventually hand it over to Ron for the electronics, but it also makes it look like Wing Zero, which is pretty dang cool. With our print assembled, we're going to start filling the Lancer. I'm first starting with a coat of Bondo spot putty and using clay tools to spread it evenly over our major seam lines and trouble spots. However, the Lancer's geometry is throwing me for a loop with all these really tight details. So after robbing a nail salon of all of their acetone, I used it to thin out the Bondo to make it easier to apply. And after I wet sanded the Bondo areas to about 220 grit, it's time to become a dirty little cheater, because we're about to break out a new tool that we've been using in the shop. Now, this is Feather Fill. Fantastic product. Normally in a project like this, we tell you to use our beloved Seymour filler primer. It's the perfect use for home, garage, whatever. Now, we've got these kick-ass paint booths behind me, and that's where this stuff really shines. So let's get to it and show you what you're missing out on. Now, Feather Fill is an HVLP product that is just absolutely coats print in all this thick with 3 C's material just all over the print, which is gonna give us an insane surface to work with. Usually it'd take like 2 to 4 rounds of filler, Bondo, and wet sanding processes, but this just dumps material all over it. And with that, I'm moving over to the sanding booth to start planing off everything and starting at around 320 and going right up to 400, and even getting in with a Dremel attachment to clear out the material on these barrel vents. And after a few small touch-up spots, it was time for the next big step. Now that I've gone ahead and sanded everything down to 400, gotten all the seams filled with nice flat black primer, we're gonna do things a little differently than you've seen before. Instead of doing our normal masking and complex paint job systems, this is really simple. So what we're gonna do is actually do a whole bunch of layers of silver and then a light dusting of black on top of that to get the really crunchy, flaky edge weathering that you see on these Gears of War Lancers. Speaking of crunchy weathering, I'm gonna be doing a whole bunch of it to this really nice precision machined water jet cut chainsaw guide bar. Ron's been using this as the test bed platform for the previous iterations of the Lancer chainsaw section. It's the single most important piece of this whole build, so it's up to me to utterly ruin it. And in doing that, I'm gonna be using this texture paint that I made with some siliconized caulk, sand, steel dust, whatever detritus I could find in the shop, and we're gonna apply that to anywhere that it isn't mechanically interfacing. So it won't actually touch any of the chain part, but it'll look the part. And then we'll just spray it down with some dirty down afterwards and call it a day. So yeah, there we go. Wait for that to cool down a little bit and then take it over to Ron. Hey Ron, how you doing? Here's the Lancer for you, and here's the guide bar, and see ya.
Dude, I just told him to f***ing oil it up. Now it's f***ing, what is this? Making the Lancer is literally just taking an electric chainsaw from the hardware store and then making a custom guide bar, fusing it into a model, and then just sending it off.
It really is that simple, and there have been no fires up until this point.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a quick A quick zappy zap. What the f? Oh, sh. That's bad. I'm gonna maybe put this outside. Yeah. So what we were supposed to do was actually take that battery and solder these connections here, but we'll do that in a few minutes.
So while Ron waits to see and make sure those batteries don't explode, I've gone ahead and printed out these detailed parts in extremely durable resin. The reason we chose that resin is because this thing is going to be an actual working chainsaw. We need to make sure that these parts don't fall apart or crack under the stress of vibration, puncturing, dropping, you name it. So we've got sights, barrels, we've got gas blocks, dust covers, nice detail parts. We've got these nice and primed up, ready to go for detail and weathering paint. And after another hour, Ron has the Lancer back, unexploded and ready for the LEDs.
Oh, hey. Okay.
Now, these LEDs are in a few spots across the Lancer, and to get that cool blue glow from these parts, I'm gonna attach some packing tape to the exterior and pour in a special mix of blue candy paint and a bit of resin on the inside and flash cure them with a UV light. This is a really simple trick. If you ever want to slap in some diffused LEDs into a prop, this will require a little bit of cleanup, but it's great if you're in a pinch.
Who is that? Who is that?
I'm not in this episode.
And before we get to weathering, I'm finally attacking all the gribblies, detail parts we resin printed. And you know what? This thing's finally starting to look closer to a Lancer, but now we get to the really fun part. Taking all that silver and black paint we put on earlier and gently sanding it down. Now, the Lancer's weathering pattern really reminds me of sandblasted metal, razor hail and stuff like that. So by attacking the edges and the large flat planes with 600 grit sandpaper, we can achieve a similar look. And after a few hours of gentle sanding and caressing the Lancer, we're ready for the stock. Now, this is Marcus's Lancer custom from Gears 4, so unlike the others, it has a unique wooden stock. To achieve the real looking wood grain effect, we're going to start off with a base coat of light brown, followed by edge darkening with dark brown. Then we're going to lay down our first big detail, which are these small stripes for a grain base using a burnt umber spray, followed by chipping effects with the burnt umber via an airbrush and rapid dry coat of clear enamel over top. The clear coat will give us some depth in the grain, and to top it off, we'll dry brush with a mix of burnt umber and medium sand. And remember, at the end of the day, this is a yuck, filthy little weapon. So we're gonna break out the Vallejo pigments and good old dirty down mid-brown to get the grime and build up. Now we got the Lancer all done up, let's take it outside and put it to the test.
Daddy, how's it feel? Ron, how long have you been staring at this thing and you've been waiting for it to cut?
Yeah, I've been working on it for a month and been waiting for it to finally cut something for about 5 months.
All right, I'm gonna go for a little top-down approach. Oh, I didn't know I was gonna do that. Hold it with your hand, Jamie. Oh, I got the barrel a little bit there.
Oh boy. Oh yeah, I'm ready. All right, here we go. That is too much fun. Look at that. Shredded, man. That's great.
All right, they've had their fun. Now it's my turn. That's more like it.
Go for it. How was that, Jamie?
That was very fun. Here's the most terrifying part. I couldn't see what I was cutting, So all I just saw was red spray.
Just like the game.
Okay, Jamie, I've got one more test that I want to do. It'll be the last one. We've got to cut something a bit more serious.
All right, yeah, all right.
So let me take one last good look at my fingers.
I'm getting out of here. Nah. You know what you're doing, right?
Whoa.
Oh, God.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. One of the limitations of a Lancer design like this is that it can't cut very deep, but it can and is cutting.
It rips and or tears. Oh, careful.
Oh,
There
okay.
it is.
I don't know if I'm cutting all the way through it, but that's good. That's a solid 2x4 cut. I love this thing. And still got all 10. Well, guys, that was such a fun build. This thing is awesome.
Incredible.
It cuts so well, and I can tell you guys put a lot of hard work into it. It's awesome. Jamie and I had minimal to do with this project, if at all.
It was awesome. I was building a frogman.
Yeah.
He's responsible for deaths. Plural.
If you guys like this build, be sure and give Ron and Gotti some love in the comments. They did some awesome work on this.
And this thing actually cuts.
Yeah, and you know, we put the 3D files out on the Patreon. Not the version that actually has a chainsaw in it, but if you want a static version or a plastic safe version of the Lancer, be sure and check out the Patreon. Files are up there, and it helps support the channel. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Give these two some love in the comments. They made an awesome thing here that I don't know where we're gonna put because it has actual chainsaw teeth on it.
It's an OSHA violation, I'd say.
It is a hazard now, but we'll figure that out. We'll see you in the next video.
Okay, so let's build.